the Bible was the majority. It's like set in Africa.
Hey, giving all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This is interesting. Kanye West having a conversation with Candace. Trying to get my phone to stay in one spot, but about the Jews, and she did something recently where she was speaking about, the whole Kyrie Irving thing that happened and how, she was looking into the book that he was looking into that was on Amazon about blacks being Jews. So the true Jews, right? So it's interesting that they having this conversation. And then I want to show you something. It's constantly like coming at her, So this is the time where she's being presented with the truth in different ways. The Lord may not use the Hebrew Israelites that's on the highways and byways always to spread this message. It could be through entertainers for people that's up in that class of people that you would so-called say, so it's just interesting to see when people are being presented with this truth. That's why it keeps coming her way. So we gonna see if she gonna, come to the light or not. You know what I mean? And then I want to show you something after this. So let's let this play.
Then it's challenging, and we talk about on the George Floyd documentary. It's called "The Greatest Lie Ever Sold." The idea that black people are not Jews. The Jewish abortion rate at the same level as the black abortion rate. 50% of black deaths a year is actually abortion. You don't see the Jewish divorce rate at the level of 70 something. You said the percent of black moms raising their kids by themselves. You don't see Jewish people shooting each other down in the street on World Star and then rapping about it. It's just that there's not Jewish content like that, and also Jewish.
And then the point of that is that you don't see that happening with them, but you see it happening with us, which proves that the curses of Deuteronomy 28 fits us. Don't fit them, but it do fit us though.
People do business together, and that's what I said on the Drink Champ. Say these are things that I'm envious of.
I think the first thing that someone would say if you said that, right, is same for Chinese. You don't see Chinese people shooting each other. You don't see Chinese people with this super high divorce rate. You don't see Chinese people and Japanese people and Korean people and Hispanic people-ish, but no matter what, nobody's rates of violence and abortion are as high. White America, forget Jewish America, white America don't have these same rates, right? And so they ask why isolate Jewish American population?
Well, for black people, okay, with the rates of that ours being higher, we're still, you go see the slave movie, you see like a slave get their teeth pulled out in front of another slave. Mm-hmm. We're still getting our teeth pulled out, literally like in jail. I have friends whose, family members went to jail and they got killed by an officer, and then the officer all of a sudden quit and they're not there anymore and stuff, and so they can't do the trial, and so we're getting left and right still treated like slaves. And with the reason why I specifically say the Jewish people is the Jewish people, like how the Armenians worked in a meatpacking district. Mm-hmm. The Jewish people came into power in the 80s, truly, when the divorces started happening.
But they came in power way before that, man. You could go back to Deuteronomy 28:68 when it talks about the slave ships. You see what I'm saying? They been came into power. That's a facade, the 80s. That was later on. When you go back to the rich banker families, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, they been in power way before that.
Because of Wall Street, because the Catholic lawyers wouldn't divorce people, and they came into money the way how black people are coming into money now. And they had to, and they did a great job. They colluded. They, before that, they were very involved with the civil rights movement, which actually the movement was, it moved blacks from being Republican over to becoming Democrats. That was what the movement, that's where the move happened.
So
And
just straight, really.
now everyone's, why are you calling them out specifically? When I said DEFCON 3, I didn't get an opportunity to say what that meant, but it meant I'm going to call out all these things that have been done to me specifically by Jewish people that so happen to be businessmen or businesswomen, but still it was done by Jewish people to me, to the darker Jew, and I was going to go one by one. And the reason I said it like that is just to say,
and he just making a point pretty much of, okay, we're being oppressed, and you know, the people at the top that have power over, you know, you got the everyday people, everyday Edomites that's oppressing us and being prejudiced towards us and stuff like that. But the people that hold the power to be racist towards us and their institutions, you know, banks, bank loans, home loans, business loans, which we rarely even get business loans. You know what I mean? They'll let you get a car loan with a high interest rate so you could go into debt. The Bible also speaks about that in the law. You know, and not having opportunities. The people that owns these institutions happen to trace back to them. And then even when you look at YouTube, you know, YouTube monitors what videos were clear to post or not, and what videos is taken down. Well, guess who's running YouTube? You know, small hats. You know, so that's the point he's making. Now I want y'all to see something else. I don't know why my phone's going crazy. Now watch this. This is with a small hat. You know, so you got to understand like the origins of the things, right? So just like for example, you got a lot of brothers, a lot of so-called black men, which are the Jews. They warring in the streets over gang violence, over different gang cliques and stuff like that. For example, Bloods and Crips. But a lot of times they don't even understand the origins of the feud that they have. You know, they're just reacting to recent things that happen, but they don't even understand the origins. You got to understand the origins of the feud. You can't, it ain't about what happened in 2022 or 2021 or 1990 or 1980s, or you got to go back to the origins. And the origins is listed in the Bible between Jacob and Esau. That's the origins of this feud because, you know, going back to Deuteronomy, I ain't got Bible with me, so I'm going to quote him, Deuteronomy 27, where Jacob, you know, was blessed by his father Isaac. And Esau had that feud that he said around verse 30 on down, where he said he was going to have hatred in his heart for his brother because the birthright. That's where the feud comes from between Jacob and Esau. So, you know, Esau wanted to be Jacob. So what you have today is you have the small hats. They want to be us so bad. So they took our identity on. But why? Because they want that promise. They want that birthright. They want the promise of the kingdom. All nations want the promise of the kingdom, but nobody like Esau. You know, Ishmael, he wants it too. That's why he running around talking about the royal family and the kingdom of Saudi and all this, and building Dubai to be pretty much what he think the kingdom, to get as close to the kingdom as possible. You know what I mean? But it's only for the Israelites, which is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Those are the true Israelites on the earth. But even Esau, he wants that birthright too. And then if you go down to the small hats from Amalek, which was a grandson of Esau, you know, so they want that birthright back. You know, watch this.
So sweet.
I'm laughing.
Thank you. No, you know, seriously, I'm here because I'm so genuinely excited about the potential to actually win this election. What's happened in the last couple of weeks, just the turning of the tide, and that, you know, Vice President Harris can actually win this thing if we all just rally around and really take advantage of this incredible energy that's happening. And, you know, I want to just a decent person in the White House, a person who cares about democracy more than themselves, who doesn't lie, who's not fomenting anger and rage, someone who cares about people. And that's what Kamala Harris does. She's like a human being. She acts like a human being, and she has empathy, and she has humor, and it's beautiful when she laughs because she's a real person who is reacting to things. And I believe in everything that she's, standing up for. She wants to put an end to gun violence in the country. There's a Zoom tomorrow night about gun violence. And, as everybody knows, we're the only high population country in the world that has this problem. And it's awful because it can be changed. We can do something about it. And she's going to work to do that. And she's energizing a whole group of people who were not engaged before. I think it's incredibly important. By the way, I know this is hilarious. This is probably the funniest of all of them. I'm sorry. I got nothing except how I feel. But, the fact that she's going to fight for a woman's right to choose, that's so important. I have a 22-year-old daughter who I know that's so important to. She's watching right now. Hi, Ella. This issue is so important to the majority of people in this country. And I'm just seeing that her generation become engaged in a way they weren't. And my son's 19, he's going to vote in his first election. And, they've grown up the last 10 years with this crazy world and the level of discourse that has just, gotten to such a low level. And this is a chance to really, to protect democracy and to go in the right direction and go forward. So that's why everybody's got to get out and vote and donate. And she's also a historic candidate. It's going to be the first woman president. And that's incredibly exciting. And, she's Indian, she's black, she's everything. You can be more than one thing. It's incredible. I'm Jewish and Irish. I wish I was black. Every white Jewish guy wishes he was black.
Yeah, he's a comedian, but you hear what he said though, so the spirit's talking, which is the whole point of, it's not so much, damn, my phone tripping. It's not so much wishing they was black, it's really wishing that they was Jew. Because call yourself Jewish, which we've been over this plenty of times, no different than calling a person childish. Well, you're not literally calling them a child, you're saying they're being childlike. So same thing with Jewish, you're being Jew-like, which is where they come from, being converts. They're being like the original Jews, but the original Jews are still here, which is us, which is why even the people that the world look up to being Jews, those people, like he just said, wish that they was actually us. And what's the origins of it? The origins goes back to Jacob and Esau, and it's all about the blessing, the birthright. That's what it's all about, and it leads all back to the Lord's promise. With that, I'm going to say salvation to the elect. Shalom.